VRChat, the next frontier. These are the experiences from Gunters Universe. His continuing mission? To seek out and connect with VR devs and passionate enthusiasts. To discuss theories, beliefs, and rhetoric of all kind. And to boldly go where no show has ever gone before.
Hello and what is up everyone? Welcome to Gunters Universe. I'm your host Gunter. Hopefully your guys' week has been good. It's Tuesday and it's time for another show. Got some great guests from the community here. Let's go ahead and introduce them. To my right we have Tom23, who is sort of this VR shaman that's building spiritual and dreamlike worlds here in VRChat. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent. And we also have Scripto, who's been hanging out here in VRChat for a long time now. It feels like a year or something. We were having meetups and whatnot, I think, in the gallery back in those days. Scripto, you live in Germany and you study media and semantics. And you also mentioned that you work with visual data analytics. I got those right?
Yeah, that's kind of right.
So what do you do, with your studies and that sort of work you're in?
Well, it's basically sort of a part-time job at my university, and we're using Unity to visualize data, actually. So that's how I got into scripting in the last couple of weeks.
Cool. Welcome to the show. We also have Kirito, who's a prolific VR chat room creator. How are you doing, Kirito?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
And we also have Cindy. Cindy, how would I describe you? I know you've hosted tons of events in Second Life. You've created a bunch of rooms here in VR chat. You're, evangelist for Unity. Am I getting that right?
I would say I'm a virtual worlds community developer and a mixed reality specialist, and been working in education in 3D online MMOs and occupational training simulators.
Yeah, you're got your hands in a bunch of this sort of social VR
yes, and
or
I'm very excited
or
be a
things like that.
part
So
of the VR community.
yeah, very excited how much you can bring to things with your background in events and whatnot. Okay, so let's basically talk about some of these things with Unity and VR chat. Wanted to bring up that it's starting to thunder here. Hopefully my connection doesn't have any issue.
Sounds
awesome. Sound effects.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Does it sound awesome? Cool. So yeah, let's talk about Unity, how you guys got into Unity, and what you like about it. And we'll just go around the circle here. We'll start with Tom.
Yeah, it's great. I started out with Unreal. Was using that a lot. The old UDK, that was pretty cool. Unreal took it to the next level, and then I noticed that Unity had some of the same options, so they were pretty similar. And I like the usability of Unity, you're able to implement it into a lot of different things really easily.
So it's a lot easier to use than Unreal Engine 4?
As far as creating, I'd say it's about the same, but there's a lot less limitations when it comes to, say you want to use it for VR chat or you want to make your own demo. Unity tends to have more of a versatile freedom for that, where Unreal doesn't have really an asset store. It's kind of online on their own thing. Unreal has its asset store. You can make your own stuff. You can sell it. You can buy it. Most of it's free. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Did we lose Gunter?
Can't hear you, Gunter.
Oh, the V key now is a toggle key, and I know I'm gonna accidentally untoggle it because I'm so used to pressing V. So when you don't see my name tag lit up, maybe let me know. So I was gonna say, Scripto, how about you? What do you like about Unity? What attracted you to it?
I actually got started with Unity by doing my first avatar for VRChat about a year ago. And this one I'm using right now is probably my third avatar, I don't know. And since then I've been browsing the asset store, looking for some shaders, texture, trying stuff. And now for a couple of weeks I'm actually getting into C# and scripting in Unity, and it's getting fun.
Right on. And Cindy, how about you?
I was developing large-scale continents or maps in Second Life, and I was seeing Unity around 2008, but it was not for people other than programmers. You really couldn't do much with it unless you could code. And then about Unity 3.5, I started playing with the terrain engine. It got more user-friendly, and then the more I got to know Unity, I really like how they embrace their customer. Like the VRChat does. They really, listen to you and do things that the innovative things that people want. It's great. And then my favorite tutorials, because there was a mass of tutorials out there, is lynda.com. They seem to put the best format together. Very searchable. Lots of the lessons are great. It's very structured. So I ended up subscribing to lynda.com to learn Unity, because most others just didn't have the structure. So I highly recommend that for people who are wanting lots of structured lessons with Unity.
So we have things like I guess it's unity3d.com/learn. That's a tutorial spot that Unity themselves put up. What would you think comparing that to the Lynda lessons?
The Lynda lessons are outstanding. You have text dialogue going the whole time as the video's playing. There's a little highlight bar going down the text file, so you can search back. You can make bookmarks. And LinkedIn just bought lynda.com, so they've moved up.
Interesting. And are the projects there, are they do they tie into each other? Is there like something you're working on throughout the project, or is it just separate little sessions where you learn one thing but they don't necessarily learn how to connect those things, or the theory behind things maybe?
Oh no, they go straight from here's the terrain engine, here's how to make stuff, and then here's how you make it a game. There's whole modules on Mechanim, there's whole modules on creating game objects besides that. But, if you take the basic course of Unity 3.5 or Unity 4, and I'm sure somebody's producing the Unity 5 version right now, it's just great. It remembers where you left off. It's like $19, $20 a month. I just pay an annual fee for it because there's so much other software there. Every software you can think of has in-depth lessons there.
Cool. And Kirito, let's move to you and talk about how you got into Unity, what you like about it, that sort of thing.
The first time I actually started using Unity was with VRChat, basically, and I've never used it before. It was a complete new experience for me. I was a complete and utter beginner, and it was just basically hearing what Cindy showed me and what Graham showed me and what everybody here at VRChat kind of helped me with and guided me through it, and YouTube videos, and just myself messing around with the UI and stuff like that.
You're not highlighted, Gunter.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yay.
I think even when I press V when I'm outside of VRChat, say pulling something up on the browser, it toggles me, so I'll have to keep that in mind. So yeah, Kirito, or we just heard from you about why you got into Unity. Let's talk about Unity 5 and some of the cool things that are coming with that, and why that's a big deal for VRChat. And let's go back to Tom.
Well, using Unreal, especially their newest engine, I always thought that their graphics were actually superior to Unity. They use something called physically based shaders, which makes the lighting really, really realistic. Unity 5 is now going to have physically based shaders, which is, to me, I would love something like that for the realms that I create. And I believe a few other things too. They have kind of the asset store kind of implemented in the engine, which makes it a little easier. Anything that helps with productivity, helps you make things faster. That's kind of my take on that.
And Scripto, are you have you had your hands into Unity 5 yet?
Yeah, I'm doing some stuff with Unity 5 Lab. What's that? Is that right? I've been posting a few screenshots in the dev chat, and I actually tried to do a day-night cycle room for the Unity 5 SDK of VRChat and got it to work just before the show started. It's quite nice to have global illumination from Unity 5, and it's really nice to have that feedback VRChat has. I mean, if you do a map real quick and, I don't know, use custom scripts, you can have the multiplayer support easily done by using the VRChat SDK. And that's getting you fast feedback.
That's interesting. Let me see if I can pull one of these pictures up.
Oh wow.
That's one of them, right?
Yeah.
Like those physically based shaders.
Yeah, that's actually a screenshot I took in VRChat. So what you can see
Oh,
here
really?
is the floor is, it has its own shader, but the reflection on it is the new reflection probe of Unity 5.
Mm-hmm.
You should usually place it, I think the best way to place it would be on negative viewpoint, so you have the same distance for reflections as your eye level is. And the water is it's just two textures on a shader. The Unity 5 basic shader is so good you don't actually need another shader at all. You can do everything with it, and it's perfectly optimized if you don't use every feature of it. And yeah, with the global illumination you can see that the texture color of the flat walls is actually a different one on each of them. On the right side you can't really see that. Maybe you can get the other picture up, I don't know, but the other floor is emitting a green light, and that's using the physically based shader as well. So we should have the green light emit on the walls as well. Nah, alright, that's a bad screenshot. But yeah, in Unity 5 it doesn't take that much to do a room like this. We can't hear you, Gunter. The rain's gone.
Okay. Now I'm back. Yeah, it looks great, the whole day-night cycle. I mean, I'd like to see more of that in VRChat, and I'd like to see something more going on here in this set too, where there is that sort of feeling of time passing and whatnot. Cool. And Cindy, what do you think about Unity 5? How's that changing things for you?
To be honest, I haven't played with it much at all, but I've been to like 2 or 3 trainings with Unity staff when they visit the Silicon Valley. I don't remember much from the training because it was just, so much information. I remember that you could start your scene, it already has a skybox in it, so it's already a render scene. But yeah, they covered so much. I have not played with it because I'm waiting for VRChat to roll out with Unity 5. So I know, I guess Scripto was in a beta version?
Oh, it's the one that Graham sent us a few weeks ago?
Yeah, that's a beta that's, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done there. So that's kind of the first, go at it. It's cool that you were able to put something up. I actually forget how the whole process is. You're going to need, I guess, the updated SDK. Graham, can you speak to that? Are you here?
Say it again?
Can you talk about the new beta that works with Unity 5, and is that out for the public, or what's going on there?
So obviously we want to get the big thing with Unity 5 is that you can create content for VRChat without having Unity Pro. So we're in the process of updating VRChat to work in Unity 5 with a lot of different bugs, just with VR in general and whatnot. But we do have a beta version of Unity, of the Unity 5 client and an SDK that works with that client for people who don't have Unity Pro 4 and would like to start building content for VRChat. If you want to check that out, sign up for our dev, or sign up for the SDK on the website, and we'll send you an email with all the relevant information. It is available to everybody, but it is extremely beta, and it's basically just for you to build your rooms and test them out. Eventually, I'm not sure the timeline on when we'll get the Unity 5 out to everybody, but we're working on it.
Cool. Yeah, and so it's vrchat.net. You can go to developer section. Click on that form there to get it downloaded and get things started. So people can really get into creating stuff in VRChat really easy. Of course, when 5 comes out, it works in VRChat here. That's going to be the big deal because now you don't have to have Pro. But a lot of people got a Pro key from their DK1, so if you haven't cracked that open, it'd be a good time to take advantage of that if you're trying to get into this stuff right now. And Kirito, you got into Unity by coming here to VRChat. Why did you want to pick up Unity, and what were sort of some of the first things that you did to get into it?
Well, when I first first came to VRChat, I think I ran into Cindy's Rat Sally, and she said she put it up there, and I couldn't believe it. I just saw it, I thought, wow. And I thought, now I've got to get into this. So I just started getting into Unity, started building stuff, and it kind of led on from there.
And really, to everybody, what are some, we heard about lynda.com. What are some things that you use to learn Unity? I mean, of course, you go to YouTube videos, but is there any specific sources, or, what do you recommend maybe people play around with first? Imagine that you're new to it all over again. What will we tell people?
Well, all I can tell really is YouTube videos are your best resource because some of them are very helpful, useful, and like Cindy said, there are professional websites out there with really helpful tutorials, and there are some very helpful like forums out there with helpful people that are more than happy to help. Apart from that, Unity is very easy to pick up, and it's very self-explanatory if you're that way in mind. So you shouldn't have that much of a problem. But the most easiest advice I can give you to start off is YouTube tutorials. Beginners, really. That's the best thing I can say.
Yeah, the Unity tutorials are a good start.
Yeah, I went through a bunch of the scripting stuff there, and it was pretty good. It's definitely, low barrier entry just to go to the /learn page there and check some things out. And then if you really like it, maybe sign up for the Lynda account, or I think Digital Tutors probably has Unity stuff there.
My favorite, best
What else?
way is the community, being able to lean on people here and being able to help them back. It's the, interfacing with the other devs here with the various skill sets is awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So just like, anything, going to the forums or going to comments and YouTube pages, having that community part of things to tap into. It works really well here in VRChat, except you kind of get more of, we are face to face and look like, in this environment where we're talking to each other. So it's like this more personal sort of community here where we're really intimate and very interested in helping people get into VRChat and build things. So that's kind of the best thing I think you could tap into is VRChat's forums and just coming to our events here in VRChat, whether it be the Sunday meetup, which is probably the best day to really talk about Unity with the folks that are putting up new rooms on Sunday's meetup around 6 p.m. Eastern. And of course this show, hanging out here with other people that are doing this and chatting afterwards, that's going to be huge if you want an avatar created or help getting that created. Really, some kind of model that's already out there and get it ported over. There's many people here willing to help. I talked with Kirito and Scripto earlier, and we thought, having Kirito, you were talking about having a library of avatars for people to use, and that was something that I thought would be very helpful, especially when there's new people here to the show or guests that would like some sort of upgrade to the avatar, not using just the stock ones, but having others that have been created that are various different, probably pop culture things that people, dig on. So let's see if I can pull some of that up and just throwing it out there to other people that have created avatars. If you're not, it's not the avatar that you use all the time or the one that you feel is attached to your personality or yourself, if you want to donate links, avatars that are already good to go, that are rigged enough to where they can sit in a chair, let me know, send them over. We'll compile this document and have it so people here can get a little bit more of, playing around with VRChat and the whole avatar thing, and maybe it'll inspire them to find their own and bring it in. Or I think there's still a big need for somebody to work on commission and work up a custom avatar for somebody, or at least start on a base avatar that might already exist out there and just make it look cooler or modify it in whatever ways that are practical for this sort of person that might be starting out doing this. So if you're interested in creating avatars for people for either free or for monetary gain, let's talk about that as well and get it announced here and also so we all know that on the meetups when other people here that we can share that.
Yeah. Sorry, Gunther, I just want to say, if you wanted a library of avatars, just inform me or Tom or someone like what type of avatars you like, and I'll try and get them sorted out for you and put them in a room for you, and hopefully you'll like them.
Yeah, I was planning on having a dressing room, so when you enter a themed area, say medieval, you can pick from the statuettes like we had in the theater there, and you can pick the character you want to be for that room. That's another way to express a library. Then you don't have to give out URLs. They're not downloading your avatar. They're just changing into it while they're into VRChat.
I agree.
So we should just have a room where everybody deposits their avatars there somehow, or I guess that would be a content trade. So yeah, I would think that each person would have a room for avatars that people can climb into and go have fun. Oh, and there's a poly rate that I think Jesse had mentioned, that you don't want it to be over 10,000. So I try to keep mine around 3,000 and under. So if you start getting really heavy with that avatar, it kind of bogs down, I guess, either the room or everybody. So try to keep them light.
That's a good point. I think keeping the avatars and even rooms as light as possible keeps the, the people that have not great connections or, again, bogging down the whole room and stuff like that. I think that's really important. So under 10,000, that's sort of the ceiling, but keeping things 3, 4, 5,000 maybe would be a good idea.
Yep.
Or under,
the other thing about room development is there's someday we might be on Gear VR, so you don't want to make your content too heavy if you want to make it over to that platform.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something good to think about, and I am looking for mobile social VR and being able to do this show from a mobile headset. So, Kirito, you're saying if people need help with avatars, you're available to help out with that. And basically picking one maybe from sort of this resource behind us, which is the asset store from Unity. There are models there.
In actual fact, I gave you earlier a list of avatars, and one of them is the sample avatar that you get in the SDK. And if I do a library of avatars, this one will be in there. It's a unique perspective, it's a mini avatar, and your field of view changes to as if you're miniature. And it's quite a unique perspective. So it's like any world you've seen in VRChat, it's like seeing it all over again from a different perspective. So that's something you might want to look out for. That's amongst those that I've given Gunter, and it's going to be in this avatar library if I ever get around to making it. But back to like the asset store, there are plenty of free avatars completely rigged. One of the most popular ones on there is Robot Kyle, and that's a nice easy starting avatar. And in VRChat there's a nice tutorial by someone called AVR Name of how to get that avatar sorted, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You can't go wrong with that tutorial and Robot Kyle. All the assets of the asset store, like robots and stuff like that, are completely fully rigged to move and walk and everything.
So yeah, the asset store, you get your ones that, you know, already rigged. Now this resource, which is funny because it has all parent advisory and
yeah, that shouldn't be right. It's completely random, this site. If I'm not mistaken, Cindy, you're aware of this site as well, aren't you?
Yeah, you really have to watch the polygons on those things.
Yeah, they're pretty high.
They're very high res, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of avatars on this site, obviously you can't scroll down, are basically, I think Tom's core avatar came from that site, or one of them. Tom's using Virgil out of Devil May Cry, and that came off of that website.
Yep.
And this website is not fully rigged avatars. It is not. You'll have to rig them off of a site like Maximo, and for that you'll have to create a free account. You'll only get one free rig, although I have heard rumours that Maximo is free, but I'm not quite sure how
They have
that
a lot
is
of
now.
free characters. In fact, the default characters in VRChat, some of them are from XML.
Yeah, Maximo does have quite a few good stuff and that on there, so check that website out as well.
I pick up fun stuff now and then at Turbo Squid, like the snowman I had last Christmas, and never could get the gingerbread man rigged. But Turbo Squid's fun, but again, you've got to take a look at those polys. You've got to keep it under, 5,000, 3,000 and under.
Yeah, another thing with like rigging like custom avatars, like say like Cindy's gingerbread man, it might be the fact because it has no elbow joints, or if the arms and legs are covered, you're going to have a bit of a time trying to auto rig it. Try to stick to avatars that are in a T pose.
Yeah, we did the
That
T
would be your best bet to start off.
And also you can't do any quadrupedal avatars, only bipedal.
Someday, though, soon.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah.
Unless you're a floating shark, and then you can get away with it.
Oh, the shark, yeah, of course, and a very disorientated dragon that we had at the birthday meetup.
Yeah, the year anniversary party, that was cool. Alright, and you were mentioning VR Name's resource for putting together avatars, so that's part of the VRChat forums, or where that's posted at. So I can't express enough to go to the VRChat forums. There's, a button on the main menu, and get involved in there. Ask some questions. That's really the appropriate spot. You won't see a ton of traffic at the moment, but the more of us that go there and ask questions, there's definitely a bunch of people waiting to respond. Cool. So what are other, so I heard of this Fuse program that you can use to get avatars. Does anybody use that or know about it?
Yeah, I have Fuse, and I have an all access pass to Mixamo. You wouldn't know it since I've been in the same avatar for 6 months, but But yeah, it's interesting. It uses Substance for materials, and there's workflow for you to bring in other textures. I'd like to, I guess the reason why I don't use Mixamo all that much, because the faces and makeup are hideous and they look terrible in lighting. So I'm learning the pipeline of making a prettier face for the ladies and a nicer face for the guys, so that I can just start cranking out avatars out of Mixamo Fuse. They gave us, I had asked for firefighter, police, and military uniforms, and now those are all in there. Before I had to wrap those myself.
Cool. Let's see, what other resources do we have for avatars?
VRChat has in development called UAvatar, but it's too early to really describe it. So, and I don't think he's available to describe it himself.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Actually,
Or task, if you want to chime in about that, that'd be cool. Not sure if you're at the mic.
Well, I'm here. There isn't a lot to it yet, but it's basically the concept of a standard for creating your avatars that you could use in VRChat and possibly other games or areas that want to support the same ability to let you bring in your favorite avatars.
That sounds excellent. I can't wait to hear more about that. So yeah, how about either expand on any of this or talk about some other good resources maybe for textures, or how easy is it to create something in Unity? I mean, how much would you need to really could you get something going in a week? Could you get a room created in
I would
VRChat
say
in a week?
1 week
being a newbie.
of doing some tutorials and messing around, and then when you get to where you can do the terrain engine or build a room, the amazing thing is that it takes minutes to connect it to VRChat.
Yep.
That is just the best thing I like about it, besides the robust voice and the avatar workflow.
Thomas, think you were chiming in?
With the built-in avatar, with the built-in avatar thing, it makes it so much easier than working in other Unity projects that aren't VRChat. You have to deal with all your animations, and it's so nice that Graham and Jesse have set it up so that you could just bring anything in a T-post.
Yeah, that's what I love about VRChat is all the custom avatars. It really brings out our personality, and I just think it matters so much in the social VR space. What about you, Tom? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I was agreeing with Cindy. Yeah, I definitely would say for the future of VR, having your own avatar is going to be extremely important. It kind of reflects who you are, kind of like real life. You have your own body, if you want to have a look that reflects who you are, So in VR, it's kind of the same since it's kind of one-to-one personable thing. I definitely agree.
Yeah,
Is it not cool when you're talking to Jesse straight on how real he looks with his scanned avatar? It's just wow. But then again, he's stuck with the same shirt forever.
Right. Sure, you could rig something up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hey Gus.
Okay, hey, I apologize, I don't have a name yet. I just joined VRChat. I'm filming a little YouTube video, actually, and I was wondering, I just kind of heard you guys talking about Unity. If we create a Unity project, we can add that to VRChat and then play that with the avatars that we create?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing, because I have a lot of developers that'll just need to use this right away.
Well, there's some limitations to the scripting, but yes, you can bring an environment on, and I thought it would be great for game titles to just put a scene in VRChat so people can walk around their scene, and then they could advertise their game.
Absolutely.
They could just put a level in there, yeah.
Absolutely, that would be just an amazing transformation from what we're already doing here. So yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. Sorry, I just wanted to jump in there and ask that question.
No, I'm glad you did. What's your name?
It's Caleb. I'm over here in Springfield, Missouri, but I do reality check developments. I've made a little crafty game called Mazer Quest, and it was a fun little one to play around, but I've been playing with a lot of different things with some guys here, pretty neat productions, and some other guys in Springfield, so anyhow.
Welcome.
Right on. Yeah, welcome.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Hey, if you want to set your name, you can use the little terminal chat window when you hit escape, top right, and you can type /SN for set name and give yourself a space in the name. Glad you found us. I really like that we have that VRChat monitor application, that system tray application that lets us know when people come onto VRChat. I think it's a really big deal for people to be here when people are showing up, because it's not like there's millions of people using VR or VRChat to be able to catch somebody always on here.
I agree. It's
Yeah.
crucial.
Yeah. Really cool feature. I'm just flipping around. So yeah, Unity. What other, go through the tutorials, spend a week playing around, download the SDK, play with that, come here, chat with us, how to get things going if you're having any problems, jump on the forums, ask questions there. What else would we recommend for, people to play around with, or
Did we
take
lose
a
our
look
new
at?
guest? Did he?
I think
There he
so.
is.
Apologize. I
Yep.
found a way to get back. I was a woman before, but that was cool.
Yeah.
So you just go to vrchat.net and go to downloads, and while you're downloading, well, you already have, but apply for the SDK, send that form in, get that SDK, and you will just be so excited to realize that you can put your world into here and connect it in minutes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm very glad you guys can give me the feedback right up front. This is one of the coolest things, especially I've been playing with a lot of VR demos, especially recording a lot lately, but to be able to jump in and interact with you guys while I'm recording something and talking to the mic, and I wasn't even sure if this was a live demo or recording, so I'm sitting there asking the question,
Right.
and then I just kind of jumped in. I was like, all right, just to verify. So,
Welcome to the forefront of VR.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty easy up front to get involved. Like I said, I hadn't even looked at the menu before. First time I hit escape was when you mentioned that. So I'll have to definitely take a look and jump around and see what you guys have already created to put in here.
Yeah, it makes putting content out there, low barrier to entry. So that's kind of the big thing about VRChat. I'm glad you showed up for this episode, because this is sort of the episode that we're really diving into Unity and creating your first stuff here for VRChat and that sort of topic.
Great, great. Well, I'll let you guys keep talking.
Animate, make your room cooler.
Out there on the asset store. But the one thing I've learned, and Tom's literally blown everybody's mind away on, is the fact that you'll see tons of free asset packs on the asset store, and never underestimate the price tag, because if it says it's free, you automatically think, oh no, it's no good.
Right.
But that isn't the case with the asset pack and Unity Asset Store. Some of the asset packs that I use in all of my rooms are free, and the textures and that, I share stuff with Tom, and he uses stuff that I give him, and so on. We're on the same team, so we share stuff, and some of the stuff that we use is completely and utterly free, so never say, oh, it's rubbish because it's free, because it's not.
Running
Far from
with
it.
worlds and everything with just free stuff, which
free.
a lot of people do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In actual fact, if you're completely terrified of doing your own room for the first time round, don't be too shy of uploading a demo scene. that you get in some free asset packs, like the complete demo scene. I have uploaded demo scenes just to see what it looks like, just to get people's feedback, just to get a feel for the world around me so I know what I'm doing. Demo scenes are good to give you a first step into VR and get your feet into it.
Actually, practically everything I upload is a demo scene that I build on.
Well, there you go. But hey, demo scenes are good for beginners. They give you a feel for what's available and what's out there.
So when you say demo scene, that's something you can download from Unity? Like a already fleshed out place that has a whole bunch of stuff in it, right?
It's basically a demo game where you jump into an environment and it's completely preset with all the settings for you, and you can just load up with VRChat SDK and you can put all the little things in there once you've gone through all the tutorials and everything, and just jump right in. I'm sure Cindy can say a bit more about that than I can.
Well, for instance, today I needed a multi-purpose room, and I downloaded a gymnasium kit, and it looked gorgeous, but it had too much stuff in it. I had to strip it out. Some of the windows you could fall out of. I had to put colliders there. All the banisters you could fall off of, so I had to put all the colliders there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do that much to the original build except strip it down and put up colliders, and then build outdoors outside of the building after that.
I agree. I also want to say, as far as making rooms, you can also tweak things a lot. Some things you get may be very simple, but because of the Unity settings, you can change them to whatever you like. And the other thing is, we kind of take for granted because we're in VR that we're looking at this table and we're looking at each other, and it's kind of like real life. But someone who's first using Unity might not have a Rift, or maybe they've never really seen VR. So when they're making something, they're kind of seeing on a 2D screen, and it's kind of like old school games without 3D. And then you make a room, and then you go inside of it, and suddenly you're actually there. So it's kind of a rush when you first get that feeling that you actually built something and it's kind of physical.
Yeah.
And that can inspire people to want to make things that they've seen.
Right, like something that might look like, we've seen much better games or things put out there than just these assets that you might come across in the Unity store. Might seem like, that's not really that compelling maybe, or they think they shouldn't create content because they're being too critical of what that is. But you got to remember that just being in scale, things that are to scale, architecture that's to scale, or just any sorts of just being in an environment so much more interesting than looking at it on a 2D screen, which is what we're learning here in VR. And just some of the most simple things I've been mesmerized at. And of course you could take that simple stuff and just do whatever you want with it.
Well, I loaned my Rift out over a month ago, so the last probably 4 builds I've put up, I've not seen in VR yet. So when you guys walk into the gymnasium and say, this is awesome, it's like I just have to take your word for it because I'm not in VR right now.
Right, and the other thing for making your rooms is scaling. That's probably the most crucial thing of all. You could build a room and you don't get the scaling right, and it's really odd. It won't work. It really has to be scaled just right for our avatars, basically.
Yeah, it takes a while. What I do is I put 2 cubes out and stack them on top of each other for 2 meters, and I believe our avatars are 1.8, the males. Anybody know? And it's based on, I guess, the construction worker guy. So I'll throw the construction worker guy out, and I'll slide him around the room to scale things. And then if I bring in stuff from other packages, now these chairs might be the wrong size from the building. So yeah, scaling is like a constant effort.
Yeah, definitely. I use the sample avatar. And
one quick thing, Ray of Minneapolis, you're bouncing around in your chair and it's due to a bug in the room. If you could stand up and then sit back down without, you're good to go. Thank you. Sorry, Kirito.
That's all right. Like Cindy was saying, I completely agree. And Tom, scale is key with VR. and the main thing is to get like a sample avatar or something like that. And the thing I use to get the scale right is the ceiling and doors, because once you got your floor down and you do your walls and ceilings, you kind of want the ceiling quite a bit above you but not too much. And if you've got like a scene with doors in it, you know your avatar's got a bit, the door's got to be just a tad bit bigger than your avatar, and that's how you get a good average size for a room.
Having been a contractor, yes, a door is usually about 6 foot high. A ceiling in a residential home is usually 8 foot high. So I do the same thing. I start with the door. I look at the building and I put the avatar there. And it's like, oh, door too big or door too small.
What about some questions maybe from the audience? You know, a lot of you come here, hang out. If we have avatar questions or building in VRChat or Unity, you know, feel free to jump in here and ask some questions. Anybody have any right now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, as far as being able to find where we can do the custom avatars, how do I find that link?
Okay, so that's part of the VRChat forums. Let me grab that and throw it up on the big screen. What other questions do we have while I pull that up?
I was just going to suggest, if you're looking at scale, look at building codes that they actually use in real life. So when you're building stairs, then look at what the tread should be and all that sort of stuff. It helps immensely for stuff to just be right for some reason that you can't kind of figure out. It's very useful.
Good idea.
I think I got it here. I'm not sure.
So the question about the custom avatar, that's in the SDK. So he would need to fill out the form for the SDK and it'll get sent to the download will get sent to his email. And the directions are in there. Or did he want to create a custom avatar? Did he want to just hook one up or create one?
This is in the VRChat forums?
Yeah, that's on the VRChat forums.
Yes.
There is another documentation that's in the SDK file and the SDK package once you get it.
Is that the one that still has the extra steps you don't need? Is that still in there? The bone in the neck, we don't need that. It's just pretty much you just move the dot to in front of the eyes and you're good to go as long as it's under 2 meters. And the avatar has to be centered in the world.
So I have a question for the guest, if now is an appropriate time. Question of the guest. So
oh, sorry, I was muted again. Yeah, please.
You're all creating worlds, and I'm just wondering if you have, if it's just a hobby for you, or if you have some intentions, a specific design in place for what you want your work to become. What does the future look like for any of you in regards to world building?
It's a really great question.
I guess I'll go. I've been working in virtual worlds for 10 years now. I rent land, I conduct classes, I've done training simulators for companies, so I kind of would say it's my job, even though we're in a startup right now. But that's what I do is online education using virtual worlds, online entertainment using virtual worlds, online training, health support, government, tech research. I've worked for NASA, doing support for large-scale conferences. So it's my job.
And now VR. the cutting edge of that.
That's where it's all going, and I'm so proud to be way ahead of all my peers.
Woohoo! And Cindy, I know you did a lot in the Second Life scene. I don't know how early on you were in that, but I'm curious, having had experience building online worlds there, what kind of timeline do you see for VRChat and other social VR platforms that are in the beginning stages here? When do you predict this is all really going to start taking off?
It's all a matter of how fast people take to Unity. And the Second Life has a 10-year jump, but it's got a really easy toolbox, and they have scripts galore. It's a much higher learning curve here, but I have a feeling that Unity developers just have not discovered VRChat yet, and when they do, it's going to explode. So you'll have to go through all these growing pains that we saw with virtual worlds. The monitoring, the unmonitored rooms, sexual harassment of the females, people wanting to do adult content. A lot of this stuff is going to come into play. It's coming, and but you have people like Ortaf and myself that have a lot of experience with this and how to prevent it and how to, and in all your other games you have the same thing. But yeah, we have to control how people can upload content, because with our kids in the K through 12 sector, the teacher can't come in the room. The kids can't do anything in the room until the teacher comes in. They can't chat. They can't voice. They can only, at the worst, just run around and bump into each other like a mosh pit. But other than that, they can't harass or do anything in an unmoderated room without a teacher. And it was just amazing when I had read Ready Player One. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my whole life. I worked at Atari in the early 80s, and it covers the whole game history thing, and then it spends 4 chapters on online education in 3D worlds. And it's like, that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
Thank you.
That's so rad. Yeah, the whole online education's such a big deal, and I can't wait to learn things through VR environment.
Well, the thing is most companies are all doing like titles, like a lesson and a course. And there's another lesson and another course and a title, but nobody's doing campuses like we do. So we hope to be well established before Spielberg finishes Ready Player One, because the competition will bury us then if we don't have VR Campus running pretty, robustly.
And what about the rest of you?
Now that you've mentioned Ready Player One, the basement mentioned in Ready Player One is actually really inspirational. Since we have custom scripts now, it's actually quite possible to do the whole basement thing. That we could have arcade machines in VRChat, just loading scripts online even, so you don't have to change maps each time. Stuff like that is really possible now.
Well, we have been doing games inside games in Second Life for a long time, but we didn't have like playable screens like that we can do with Unity. Unity's so much more powerful.
Yeah, of course.
What about Tom? What about you turning? Are you just going to do this part-time? Or are you planning on doing this more than just part-time? Or we've talked about you taking a couple of your rooms, Heaven, Hell, Digital Life, and having you package those as Unity applications to throw up on the store. What are your thoughts now that you're getting a lot of feedback from the community?
I would say definitely full-time. Like, I really enjoy this. Like, it's not just a job for me, it's actually something I enjoy. I've always been one to be kind of an artist and kind of have a, spiritual aspect of things. I'm also kind of like an engineer too, so I can kind of combine all those things in VR. When I make worlds, I tend to push the boundaries and try to convey things that are unconveyable in the real life, because that's the advantage we have here in VR. We're not bound by the laws of physics necessarily. We're not bound by certain things. So I tend to want to remind people that although we are making virtual worlds like real life, we don't necessarily have to. And a lot of the concepts that runs our world, such as religion or politics or philosophy or even schooling, as Cindy said, can be easily conveyed here and shown to anyone. Because direct experience, I always say, direct experience is the best teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the richest medium, I would say, now, and allowing you to experience things. I mean, all kinds of engineering. You could explode engines in front of you, and somebody could guide you through what all the parts of, an automobile engine is, or all kinds of good stuff like that.
Or the human body.
Yeah, that'd be even better.
Right, and I could explain it for a very long time to someone, or I could just give them a virtual reality device and they just go, whoa, and they get it, So as far as how far I'll take that, of course, I'll go all the way, I'll put myself in wherever it needs to go. I believe that the entire world needs to see these things, not just a few of us, I think that's really important.
Unity also gives us the power to merge a lot of technologies. A lot of video post-production houses are now going to need a Unity developer on staff. With 360 Cinema, I mean, I can't wait to experiment with that. The only reason I'm not now is because it doesn't, it doesn't pay the bills. But 360 Cinema married in here would be really cool. I can't wait till we can start merging technologies like that in an MMO.
Can I second that, Cindy, real quick? I work at an audiovisual company, and we do a lot of big events, and they're always looking for ways to bring audiences from other places into their, into the events, and be able to have a virtual way somewhat for them to do that. And they always, kind of do it very badly. And I believe the future is doing it this way. And also merging technologies, I was going to ask, because I know I talk a lot to the Leap guys, are you going to be able to involve Leap motion into the demos that you're using also in these VR worlds with the scripts, or is that possible?
If Graham's listening, he could tell you more, but we have people using Razer and some people using Connect. I have a Leap, but it's not connected to this platform yet.
Right,
but it's in development.
Razor, so.
But yeah, Graham and Jesse have more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jesse and Graham are the developers, and Jesse is here but kind of not here. He's doing other things while he's sitting in. So I think right now, yeah, it's just Razer Hydra and Connect, which those still have plenty of work that needs to be done on them. But I'm sure Leap Motion is something else that would like to be supported. And for us getting our hands in here, it's so huge to be able to convey, all that body language that you get from your hands. When I was doing Virtually Incorrect, a previous VR show in RiffMax Theater, we had the hands there. We had the Razer Hydra, and it could be awkward at times, but it really did work. I'd point to people and just express myself, and especially the guests really could get into it. So, sort of like puppeteering your avatar, it's kind of fun for them and novel. So I hope to see that come about for sure.
It's really good for someone who's a speaker. The speakers move their hands around, and but it's kind of comical to watch that when we had the Shanghai had a Connect, and that was hilarious. I mean, sometimes it looked like he was picking his bottom at some point, or his arm was wrapped around the back of his head, but it would just flip out and then be. But most of the time it was normal, and that's key, is to have the moving mouth and the moving hands for presenters when we're doing these large-scale 3D webinars.
I look forward to it for sure.
Yeah, I heard Reverend Kyle's latest podcast with Pete Cam and Andy Sen. They're creating something called Tribe VR. So it's another social VR application, but their goal and their mission is to create intimate social experiences, sort of one-on-one. And the developers have this desire and had this experience where they had long-distance relationships. So they're looking to break that barrier down and help people communicate intimately. Watch a movie together. Spouses watch a movie together that are in long-distance situation, or just that sort of thing. And so they're going to use Unreal Engine 4, and they're going to try to push the limits of making things look very realistic and high poly count. I guess maybe having things very small rooms and two people might make that a bit more doable. But they were talking about, the importance of nonverbal communications, of course, with hands and body, but, there's also, desire to have some sort of eye tracking or, where your eyes can actually meet. I think that's going to be a big deal someday. But I just thought it was very interesting. We're definitely seeing a number of social VR applications came in on the scene this year, and I'm just really excited that people are excited about this space, that this is sort of an experience that is kind of the antithesis of what people might think of VR and it being non-social. I really see the social things panning out a lot, and I'm just really curious to see how it evolves over the next day and the kind of attendance we're going to have here in VRChat and these other applications. So what else do we have going on? So, well, to go back to the avatar thing real quick, I'm not sure where he went, but if you want to find out about the avatar, it's really easy to type VRChat and avatar in Google, and the third one down is the link to that forum post. I think it's the third one. Oh, I didn't post it up there. 1 second.
Speaking of avatars, I hope we can get to where we can, it's like there's just only one of me, and there's 100 million things I want to do, but I'd really like to bring, our nightclub dancing over and get some more girls here.
Sure.
and we have a lot of live performers that are willing to perform. And what's holding us back is the lack of avatars and the lack of dancing animations. Now, I have the dancing animations. I just need someone to help me hook them up into, like, F keys or something. So it'd be like, F4 for hip-hop, and, and you'd have a different or run a cycle so that everybody's not dancing the same at the same time. In Second Life, we have couples animations, which is really cool. I think we're a long way off from that, but I think with a station, we could probably pull that off. They would just be stationary. They would sit a station.
Right.
So once we get some entertainment stuff going in here, things will start picking up. Adventure and entertainment, because we're just learning how to do vehicles, and we're just learning how to do a lot of the various the rides and stuff.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see if we can get some people to really push animation or actually bring more animation here. We've had a few people in the past have some really interesting animations to their avatar, but they may not still be active in the community, or, a lot of that information just doesn't seem to have come down. I don't see a lot of animations or, pointing and simple things, like that are really powerful. So hopefully there's somebody here that will invest time into that and can bring back that knowledge to our community and really expand that for us. Could you imagine if we're all able to clap or do other things around this set here? I think it'll really bring out the experience for people attending, but also for these sort of videos that we want to record for events that are happening here.
Yeah, because right now we have to jump up and down instead of, like, clap or wave. But yeah, I think AVR Name did one of the first tutorials in the forum. I just had not had the chance yet to sit down, and it had the custom animations tutorial, so I got to put that on my to-do list.
I kind of think that both the animation and the so-called mocap, or how the Vive has hands and you can move around. They're saying you can add different things to your body parts. It's like, if one person were doing animations and the next person is literally moving around physically, it's kind of, which one would people choose? Would they choose both, one or the other?
Well, Ortath and I were talking, I think we could pull off riding a horse with animation controller and, using just walk, but it actually animates the horse and we're riding it. Gunter, you're turning red, but we don't hear you.
Oh yeah, it should be red all the time. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, can now.
Yeah, I have it toggled on to be all the time. If it ever isn't red, then that's when I've pressed the V key to toggle it off. When I paste in links, Control V ends up pasting the link, but it also toggles my audio at the same time.
And
so I just try to click it real fast.
I see Jeff jittering behind you, but he looks like he put his Oculus down on his desk. He's got the head to the side.
Hey Jeff, wake up. Well, when you see his head pop up, we'll ask him to toggle himself so he's not jittering. But at least now we have some animation for the camera, right? Well, a couple things on my list were to mention that there's a Boston VR meetup happening tomorrow in Boston, but also we're going to be meeting here in VRChat at 8:15 Eastern. So that's 6:15 Pacific, and some other time for other people. I'm not sure what room it's going to be in, but I think it'll be obvious by the one that's most populated. So that's really cool. Let's come out there tomorrow and support that.
Tomorrow
it's
evening?
Yeah, tomorrow evening, 8:15.
So that would be, so that's 6. I was invited to a Women in VR thing, but I'm not presenting, so I don't have to go. So I'd rather not drive into San Francisco. I'd rather hang out with you guys.
Oh, cool. Many of us wish we were near San Francisco to attend things like that.
There's so much happening here.
Yeah. And Kirito, you have some rooms that you've created recently. Can you talk about those a little bit? Kirito's in the UK, and he may have fallen asleep. Oh no, there he is.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Pretty
It's
late
like
there.
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
He's on VRChat time, though. He's one of us.
I'm on Japan time. I don't know about anything else, correctly. Yeah, I've created a room. Tom, actually, this is the first time Tom's ever asked me for anything like to put in a room. So I went out and tried to do it, and I was fortunate enough to get this item and put it in a room. And anybody who does gaming and knows Final Fantasy, it will be very close to their hearts, and there's a little bit of more stuff in there. I hope there's something in there for everybody. It was a very complex program to learn that I've used for this. It's a Japanese format, so it's a whole new learning curve, but the room is very big, very vast. It's got 8 worlds in it, in one whole world, and it's quite interesting. So yeah, that's one world. And then there's the other one for anime fans out there who want to get into the anime world in VR. It's an anime town, and I'll put it together again with the Japanese format. And yeah, hopefully Cindy's seen that one, and so has Tom. And hopefully you guys can enjoy it as much as they have.
Excellent. Can't wait to check it out after the show.
Yeah.
It's always a fun time. Yeah, I have a couple Unity things to show on the big screen. I think this script that you sent over is a Unity 5 lighting illumination.
Yeah, it's just a short comparison between the... Oh god, the sound. What? Well, I guess that's the local illumination.
Yeah, the volume flat. It takes me a moment to adjust that. So is this coming out okay?
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, wake up.
Yeah, see that global illumination, physically based shaders, these are things that Unreal has had and Unity definitely needs, and I'm glad to see it now.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I am reminded of Unreal with that. When Tom showed me it, I'm definitely reminded of that.
That's rad. And I got that day-night cycle example that'll pull up too.
Yeah, that'd be even better.
The background music for both of these is not so good. Yeah, so I started it a bit later. I'm not sure if it's... Yeah, grab the asset and plug it in and use it, right? Like, how hard would this be to add to your project? anybody's done it. I'm not sure if anybody has.
I'm noticing Atari over there is changing his avatar once every second.
Say what? Is it Zero?
That's Atari,
Atari.
Historian. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Hey there.
I think that the video you're showing is it's just a basic day-night cycle. So the flare's nice, but I can't see any shadows at all.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't find the greatest video, obviously. So it definitely would be nice to see something better, but that's...
I've got something, I think. The one
Yeah, if you want to...
I used to get my room to work. Or I used to start with it. Wait.
Yeah, shoot me that link. Let's pull that up.
Oh,
and audience...
Should I paste it, or should I send it to you?
If you put it in Skype, I can grab it there. And while we're pulling things up, audience, just a reminder to, feel free to ask questions, chime in if you're curious or interested about doing any of this, or just have some tips on some stuff that you may have done in Unity or how to get into it. Please share.
Well, I have to go, sorry to jump in, I'm going to go pick up my wife here in a few minutes, but I'm going to post this video up on Reality Check VR on YouTube, and I've got some of my projects that I did in for Mazer Quest with Leap Motion. I'm a newbie when it comes to Unity, but I basically watched a bunch of videos of, cool, developers that posted the material, and I created a whole little maze and I guess a rain kind of environment, and I guess just being able to watch other people's videos on YouTube and go to the asset store. The asset store is huge, although I didn't find that out till later. And just being able to, I guess, get into the scripts and play around with things is just the easiest way. But I guess having this right here, the VRChat, is going to be essential for any developer to be able to come in and ask questions direct. But also Reddit, of course. I use Reddit as well to get instant answers, and that's always a nice tool for developers. So.
Hey, Reality Check, was Mazer Quest the one with the aliens and using the leap motion to move the balls out of the way in the maze and all of that?
Yep, that's right.
That was awesome, man. It was really well done. I enjoyed that.
I appreciate it, man. That was by far the first thing I'd ever done on a computer with that stuff. As soon as I got the Oculus Rift, actually the reason I got it was because I wanted to sit there and develop with stuff, and it was also an excuse to play with games in my free time. So, no, I appreciate getting that feedback. That really means a lot. So, definitely, man.
Well, come back on Sundays at 4 p.m. We're all back on that day on a regular basis.
That's right.
4 p.m. Pacific.
All right, I'm Central Time here, so I'm in Missouri, so I'll figure that out. But definitely, I will see you guys later on. Appreciate the information. You guys have a great rest of the episode. So.
Yeah, glad you come out. So it's Reality Check VR. That's your channel.
Yep. It's yeah, you can usually just type that in on YouTube. It should pop up. You'll see an Oculus Rift attached to a guy's head, so that's how you'll know. All right.
Well, welcome and come back soon.
Definitely. Thanks, guys. You have a good one.
See ya.
I'm gonna walk away now, and hopefully eventually Master Chief and Violet over here. I mean, come on, guys.
Oh, I done did it. So there's a hotkey.
There's no stopping now.
There's no stopping it. So the show is not over, but it sounds like it is.
I thought you were giving a climax to his exit.
Oh yeah. We will play this every time somebody exits the room. Yeah, it's loud. It'll fade, but it'll still be going on for a little bit. So yeah, I'm still learning how to paste things and not hit other buttons that are hotkeyed. And so some things are going to have to change there in order for this sort of thing not to happen.
That water looks great.
However,
That
the video
day
is
and night cycle is incredible.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Just saw the sun dip beneath the ocean there. It's pretty cool.
Is this in VRChat?
That's in VR
The beta?
chat,
This video?
yeah. I think so. Okay, I'm getting Unity 5 tomorrow.
Oh, scripto is gone. Freaking awesome.
Oh, we forgot to mention to him that it only works in 4.6.4 right now, or 4.6.
What does?
VRChat.
Oh, yeah, VRChat.
The SDK. We forgot to tell the guy.
I think it says it in the documentation, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll say it when he goes to download and stuff. Almost.
That's kind of what's holding back my PR is we're waiting for Unity 5 and VRChat to get going.
Whoa.
And then we can start the party. Not that
Yeah,
it hasn't started already.
Oh no. It started, but there'll be a lot more.
I can hear Tom's mind going away with ideas on this one.
Oh man.
Look at that, that is unbelievable. Crikey, that is unreal, isn't it? That is...
That's Unity 5.
Yeah, no.
It looks like Unreal, yeah, but it's Unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Unity had to. They had to catch up because some of these.
Oh yes, definitely.
I mean, it's worth the pain of a whole upgrade.
Yeah, Unreal really raised the bar, so they definitely had to match that.
Now, do people think that this level of graphics will work on a Gear VR?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you optimize, there's like a sale of today's sale on the Unity Asset Store. It can take your objects and turn it all into one atlas. It looks kind of complex, but I'm thinking of getting it, and I'm hoping it'll work with this. I mean, it's just textures, so. But like if you have a pile of rubble or a bunch of objects like chairs and stuff, it turns them all into one mesh and one atlas. And boy, it cuts your draw calls down 200 or 300.
That's a great tip.
And so when you're cutting down your draw calls, then you can do these wonderful new effects, these new shaders.
Last week, I put together a video on YouTube showing some really
turn the video off.
Done in Unity with the new.
So we just set it to a URL.
Illumination.
You've got a pretty good rain coming down out there, hey?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Are you okay, Gunter?
We can't hear you, Gunter.
Yeah, it's coming down for sure. I'll be okay though.
The thunder passed through though, eh?
Not so much thunder right now, just the rain. It's been raining a bit here in Alabama over the last few weeks.
That's our rain. Give it back.
Mud around.
California is desert.
You can have it.
Speaking of California RV guy, don't forget I've got RV hookups at my ranch, and I'm just 70, 80 miles from San Francisco, but I'm only 20 miles from Silicon Valley.
You know, an offer like that is what I need to make this sort of journey happen. So I'll talk to you more offline about that, because those opportunities are really what can get me out there and get me then pumped about the scene and start taking things further. Just getting into the RV isn't quite enough, and there's a lot of complexities that have come with moving into this environment. And right now, traveling around hasn't been something I can just pick up and do so easily, as far as then get set up somewhere else and be able to, be set up to do my job and to do these sort of things. So cool, thank you.
Yeah, hunting down the RV parks that have high-speed internet is really hard, because they think they have high-speed internet, and they don't know what they're talking about, because they're
Broadband.
But then you get around the city
Broadband's
here,
anything.
and your cost of parking is way high.
Yeah.
So something like people's friends' houses to park at and stuff comes in pretty handy.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
And he's gone.
Quick, everybody up on the table.
He jinxed himself by saying he was going to be fine.
I got kicked to the main menu.
Kirito, I was blown away by that day and night cycle.
I was actually thinking of timescaping with that fast day and night cycle, or time machine, or something like that.
Definitely.
it'd be cool to do it for like a set like this, where you just have the day-night cycle take a longer time, like take like an hour and a half or an hour or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of give an idea of how long the show's been going, maybe. That'd be cool.
Just be careful when you're editing, because your light would change in your background if you're chopping segments out of a show.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And in Second Life, we've always had sun controls, midnight, sunset, and it's a 4-hour cycle. But most people run around in daylight so they can see more. But a lot of times we have events where we want, we try to force midnight on them so they can see all the lights and pyro effects and stuff like that. But we can't really force it. And that's what I like about Unity, is you can force their time of day.
Great point. Okay, so great stuff. Keep chiming in with questions, community or audience. And what else is going on? There's, a lot of social VR stuff kicking. That's what we've been kind of talking about. Kirito, I think you said you went to the Altspace beta this last weekend?
Yes, I did, briefly. I caught a glimpse of their new game. To be absolutely honest, it's nothing special. Synaptic Bruce was there doing like a voiceover for like all the stuff, and it was basically more of a sales pitch type thing. It was impressive the way they've done it, but I think once the new smell wears off and that, everyone will be back to like the where they wanted to be, and it's nothing special.
So was this the D&D game or just some other game?
Yeah, I believe it was the D&D game on the table where you can move your players and roll your dice, yeah.
So was it actually working? Where do people have their characters? I believe they can pull them up in sort of some Google Doc, see their character sheet, and what was the dice rolling? Were people actually, able to get through some sort of game?
Well, I actually went in there prior to the actual meetup, and I actually touched the dice and that, and they rolled. I could move stuff and everything. So yeah, I think it's dependent on the person's point of view. So they can see what they're doing, and the other players can see what they're doing, but the rest of the people who are not playing cannot see certain aspects of it. I believe that's how it works anyway.
Not everything is networked, yeah.
Yeah. But to be honest, I think the fact that Synaptic Bruce was there, like doing kind of a story role to it and making it sound like better than it actually was, added to the sense of immersion. Without him there doing all that type of stuff, I think it would have just been 5 minutes. Oh yeah, this is interesting. VRChat's definitely better than that.
Yeah, we need these people, like Synaptic Bruce, like myself, that sort of are now these, what somebody was telling me last week, and I was even reading an article, like shepherds, people that are going to help collect people together and show them, where these social spaces are, and sort of a VR shepherd. And I think they're really, just like any meetups or events, you need these facilitators to kind of be the ones to decide, hey, things are starting, hey, this and that, or, a way to... Yeah, moderators help, and also help connect people to resources or how to deal with how to work the new environment that they may be in, or reach out and bring people in. So I think it's the people in these communities or in these social experiences that are so big. That's what brings you in. So having somebody like Bruce that has such an awesome personality, I'm sure is a huge deal. So was he doing like
he was
the dungeon master?
Yes, he was the dungeon master. He was reading it all. He was doing all the voiceovers and everything. Yeah, he was doing it all, which attracted people. Yep. That was the attraction right there. Without Synaptic Bruce there, that room probably would have been dead.
Yeah, or basically, if you have a good dungeon master, which is what it's always about with
definitely.
D&D, then it sounds like something could be there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely interesting. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons myself, so I don't see the attraction to it. But it's definitely an interesting concept, yeah. But I find Altspace to be very, I don't know, it's cold. It's more a business type thing. Where VRChat is more warm and central.
More
We've
community.
got a community here. It's a community.
And we
we've
could
got
do more
friends.
stuff.
Yeah, it's
more
warm and central here.
freedom.
It's community based, where Altspace is business based, basically. I think, from my opinion.
I agree. I mean, the realms I've built, you know, I'm trying to convey a spiritual experience to people. I could never do that in Altspace.
No, definitely not. Your rooms would not fit in Altspace whatsoever. No.
It's supposed to be a user-generated content platform, though, isn't it?
I don't know.
No.
In actual fact, I seem to remember Snatchbro saying something about them releasing the SDK for them to do like stuff and that. But I think it's not. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Unity based, but I think it's got a web base to it as well.
It is.
Well, you
Unity.
told me it was
VRChat or
Unity
something.
based, yeah.
And it is a place for people to meet up and hang out, watch programs, you know, talk in a space similar to this or other social VR apps that we've been in. But it's not so much to create your own content. You're going to use their rooms. You're going to use, you know, what their stuff looks like. However, they did add that SDK option to have people help build out other activities. I think that you can do other, you can bring in the Dungeons & Dragons stuff or bring in web, you know, content, basically even 3D stuff that's on the web to display it there in person. But it's definitely not a whole, like, room creator or sort of metaverse thing that we've been discussing.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Graham and Jesse. They got it going on.
Yeah.
I was thinking the only thing that they could have would be more of a show where, say, non-VR, you know, famous people wanted to be interviewed or just, you know, come in and people can see them and things like that. But we could do that here. And Gunter, you're kind of doing the same thing, you know? I'm thinking that that's probably the only advantage they might have. I mean, the Super Bowl I thought was going to be pretty huge, but I mean, I know it was the first time it was ever done.
Nope. I've been doing it in Second Life for 5 years. I get 900 people show up to my party. I'm doing Kentucky Derby next weekend. I'll get 700 people. All the girls come in their pretty hats, and I stream the game, the race live and everything. And I told them, I go, well, actually, you know, I've been doing this in Second Life for many years now. I have a tailgate party with everything functions, the beer kegs. You can flip the hamburgers. There's cheerleaders. The girls come. I put out a cheerleader dance pad. They just hit the little dots, and they all go into a synchronized cheerleader dance. They sit there for hours doing these dances. And it wasn't the first time it's been done. I've been doing it for years.
Well, that's awesome. I didn't know that, Cynthia, and that's incredible. And so,
come to my Kentucky Derby party on Saturday.
I'll do that. So Altspace could, you know, we have Cindy here, and you know, we have that experience to be able to make those kind of forums here, you know, and I think that also is a great advantage. That's one example of having community work for you instead of having a more of a business type environment.
Yeah, I like the idea of all these social VR applications because they're bringing people in, and I think most of the people that attend one of these like the idea of social VR and want to attend other ones. It's really about, you know, getting the word out. I think sometimes some of us get locked into a certain platform and sometimes could benefit, I think, from going to some of these other ones like Altspace or Janus and whatnot to just meet their community. I think is a big idea, and us going to those communities would be a great way to talk about VRChat because I think those are people that want to be tapped into all of this. And Altspace has a nice look and it has things going for it. I haven't got to play with it enough. I was on vacation this weekend, so I couldn't do the beta, which I was interested in checking out. And there's some great folks in that community that come out. But yeah, you can't just create whatever you want like you can here.
There's so many things I've wanted to do that we've been doing in Second Life for many years. I mean, nightclubs galore, and live performers galore, and RP galore. I mean, you just name it, it's getting done there, and we can do a lot of that stuff here. And these musicians, they come over with mailing lists of, you know, 1,000 to 5,000 fans.
Yeah.
So, but you know, when they have a 5,000 member fan list, expect only 20 to show up. But yeah, I mean, the bigger the musician is, I mean, but the problem is we can't have them come over here and do cover tunes because that's kind of an ASCAP BMI thing. But we can do DJs all day long with licensed servers, And everybody loves DJs too. I mean, there's just so much we can do to just, what I don't see here is people hanging out during the day, whereas my Sims in Second Life get 500 to 700 people, 700 people on a weekend during the day, 500 a day on a weekday, a Monday maybe 400. But that's a lot of people coming and hanging out. I want to see that in VRChat. I don't want to see the list empty. I want to see 10 people in each room.
Well, it's also a matter of publicity. I mean, Second Life is extremely famous. It's been around for a very long time. If VRChat gets that kind of publicity, we could definitely do that. I mean, ultimately, I think AltSpace, VRChat, all of these things are going to connect and eventually create what I call the metaverse, or everybody calls the metaverse. And once giant companies like Valve or Facebook or whomever gets involved, it'll kind of be a subculture, I believe.
Yeah, I think the big metaverses like Facebook and whatnot are going to want to be extensions of kind of what our families and that sort of situations connect through pictures, through live video, which now Facebook Messenger added sort of the Skype feature to, and add things like hang out in a VR space, like with your family, and maybe that's a view of your actual real life living space through some sort of 360 cameras that'll be available, or just some sort of virtual place. But I don't see them getting into those, like being able to customize your world situation. I feel like it would be stuff that you'd pick from, and you would customize with your, content of like pictures or videos, or have conversations and choose a few different scenes or whatnot. But I don't know how they would exactly create, the metaverse. Facebook isn't the internet, whereas people can go and create whatever websites or put out whatever content they want out there. It doesn't have to be part of Facebook, but Facebook does offer, I think, a great thing for people to connect. And I always wonder what their kind of thing with Oculus is going to entail.
Well, basically, it wasn't about turning Facebook into a VR thing. It was about Facebook having their hand in the new tech.
Yeah.
In
what's
coming. Facebook's not going to change, I don't think, that much. It's just they just wanted to be big players in the game. They see it coming, and we see it coming,
at their
but the
conference,
average person doesn't.
They talked about sort of building the metaverse, or sort of starting.
Yeah. They said they wanted
like
2 billion users.
Or Friendster.
Right. Yeah. They said they wanted 2 billion users in VR at some point.
Well, the thing is there's a whole mechanism of the way people socialize online. See, here we are all civilized. We're all kind of G-rated here. We all treat each other really nice. You times this by 50 people, and you're going to have a few jerks. And you times it by 1,000 people, you're going to have a lot of jerks that are not nice to girls, for one thing, and or girls not nice to other people. I mean, it starts getting you'll see it as it grows, and trying to moderate that. I mean, with children, with our students, we cannot leave them ever unmoderated, because one bad incident, one parent will shut down our whole operation. By, oh, my daughter was harassed or my son was bullied. Well, adults are just as bad. And so we need to establish these tools as room owners or as administrators that within VRChat to nip this stuff before it happens.
There's also a balance between freedom versus, making sure things are that way, I think.
In that case, I think I need to have a talk with someone about who was bullying me the other day. Tom was there.
Yeah, we definitely need people to deal with that sort of thing. Cindy, you're able to bring this knowledge from doing events, and if somebody was trolling right now, they would pretty much kill the event and have to deal with them, and just a waste of people's time. So I think you bring up some valid points.
In 2008, I had Buzz Aldrin streaming into 16 Sims with 4,000 avatars watching, and there were 500 people in the room, and Penis Man comes flying by, dropping F-bombs. And this is on a big screen behind an Apollo astronaut, and he's giving a keynote, and the people in the audience are laughing, And so he thinks they're laughing at his jokes. And I look at my director, I go, do I pull this? What do I do? Because I couldn't get the NASA people to close the sim. I said, once it's full, close the doors so that we can control the audience that was here. And they refused, and that's what they got. And that was very, very, very unprofessional. I mean, you know, and we had no control over it. Well, I didn't have any control over it. They wouldn't let me control it. So that's just one example of how a really big thing could go bad fast. So I think that we should just be prepared because, you know, it's strength and admin tools. But it's accountability. There's no accountability online. I could stand here and be a jerk to all of you, and what could you do about it?
I could mute you or send you away.
Because you have an admin power.
Yeah, unfortunately that doesn't always work. We learnt that the other day when this Azel guy came back in. We tried to block him and he signed back in with a slightly different name. I think he just increased one letter in his name, and that basically unblocked him.
Mm-hmm.
So something like user accounts is obviously a progression.
Right, yes.
Deal with that. And I know that folks here, the developers here are thinking and looking into that sort of thing. But yeah, without the moderator controls, we'd be screwed. But we have been getting those, the kick command, the mute command, you know, basic things that are basically saving my life right now. But it's all cumbersome, needs to evolve a bunch for sure. And,
well,
and you're right, Cindy.
For instance, once we have hand controls and people are walking around touching things, I'm going to have OrTap write me a boob force field for people trying to touch my chest. So they get zapped. Oh, yeah, zapper.
Or you just have a collider far away.
That's really interesting. Yeah, these are going to be a lot of problems to work out. You know, getting in here, building stuff now, being part of this community, help figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Like, join us, join this community. You know, don't just think about it. Actually, come out and let's do it. You know, it's great to get in the beginning of something like this because things are going to need to scale. And you know, just the advice from you, Cindy, on how to deal with, you know, the groups, the social part of things, like. And you're right, like, we're going to need this more than ever soon when consumer hits or, you know, when PewDiePie comes in here or something stupid like that, or, you know, the masses are coming, and we should be prepared ahead of time and not have to just react to it and be trying to play catch-up every week or something like that.
Well, the problem with someone having a bad experience, say somebody comes here for the first time and they get harassed by a troll, they're going to take that to social media saying VRChat sucks, there's creeps in there, you know. So we have to get a handle on that before it even starts.
I agree, and also you have to remember in VR things are much more personal. I mean, and you know, I'm sitting next to you, I feel like I'm just a few feet from you guys, and if someone's doing things like that, it could really, for a first-time user, it could definitely affect them.
Well, being a female, I get followed, so that I've been followed from room to room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just won't leave me alone. So, but you know, it's nothing I can't handle. It's just I feel sorry for the person that doesn't. That is. Here's the thing. I'm an administrator, right? I'm an estate owner, and I get girls that call me up about some guy harassing them when she has the tool to mute him, block him, or leave, but she has to throw a big fit. She has to, because she's been violated by a person that did something to her. We're going to have people like that, male and female, that are going to be crybabies. And those crybabies are the ones that might take their experience and spread the word that they had a bad experience here. So we really want everybody to have the best experience. And on my Sims, all my admins are called park rangers because it's a national park theme. And we're to be nice. Everything's about being nice. Sorry you can't do that here. I'm sorry you have to wear clothes if you want to stay here. You know, I'm sorry that you can't talk to our other guests like that. You're going to have to leave, and then we kick, you know, the boot button. But a lot of times they're innocent before we assume they're innocent before they're guilty. They really have to push our buttons for us to just, do the full ban, because they don't realize they're breaking the rules. So we give them the benefit of the doubt. But a troll is a troll.
Yep.
What about making a troll muted and invisible to everybody so that they can just jump around and be an idiot all they want and no one else can hear and see them?
That's a good idea.
We had thought about new people being invisible, that people couldn't see them, but they could see others, or they couldn't see anybody, and it was just a place that was empty for them to explore. But once they moved up a level with their account, maybe a subscription or something, then they could see people. I mean, we're always trying to think of ways for it to be, for no one to ever walk away unhappy.
That's a good idea. I think that if we all had the ability, like for instance, if I didn't like somebody sitting over there, I could just push a button on my keyboard and they vanish and I can't hear them. And if we all had that ability, I think that would probably take care of it pretty quickly. So I agree with that.
In Second Life, they disappear, but they can still push you. They can still shove you down the street if you're walking, but you can't see them. And I think they need to do something about that, because it makes the girls cry and they call up and they go, blah, 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 blah.
I can't wait for those.
No,
calls.
literally, they cry.
I'm sure. But yeah, we have to, make it so they can't push them down and those sorts of things. And, for the short term, I definitely want the ability to make somebody invisible.
Right, and make them invisible, can't hear them, and no colliders, and they just essentially become a ghost.
Yeah, and they won't know it. They'll be able to have it so that they can see themselves and they can jump around and be idiots and yell at everyone, and everyone will just be like, they'll just think that they're being ignored.
Instant troll defense.
Yeah, the only way to deal with troll is to ignore them, and so then you would actually be able to do that with that scenario. And then
because they thrive on attention. That's the whole
right.
reason they're trolling.
Yeah, so take the attention away, which can totally happen.
So put that on our wish list. Troll button.
We got it. That would definitely work. We should make that happen.
For the visitors as well as the room owners, because it's the visitors that are helpless. They're the ones that have to call for help. We should not have anyone have to call for help. They should be able to learn how to handle it on their own and be zero harassment.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up some ideas to Jesse and Graham about UI. I think I can help draw out some better ideas for the user experience here as far as, the menus we have access to. I think some of that can be worked on to make things a little easier to get into VRChat, and definitely having a menu to pick up, to, pull up the list of names in the room and choose to do those things and make it very easy, not command-based, of course, and just some sort of newer look, which maybe would tie into the whole avatar selection. I think that's another part of user experience here that we want to make easy for people to switch in and out of avatars and all that.
Yeah, it's still kind of all in dev mode. I think they're trying to work out some heavier things. They said eventually they'd hire a graphic designer. And I'm thinking have a contest to how they'd like it to look, because that's what Second Life did. They went and redesigned their into a whole new viewer without asking any of us what we wanted, needed, or whatever, and we never used it. A third party developed another viewer for us, because they made everything harder to do with this new thing. They hired a company that didn't even use the platform to design the new interface. Mm-hmm. So I think what would be cool is if they had a contest of the users or the user devs to have a, sketch out a design that might work for all of us.
Yeah, I'd like that. More contests for things like getting, helping out with things and coming up with some of the work, distribute the workload to our great community.
Mm-hmm.
I cringe every time I ask them for something, so I try not to, because I know they're so busy.
Yeah, they don't quite have the alt space budget. So I guess the last thing I want to talk about, or at least mention, I'm not sure if everybody's heard anything about this, and it's I don't know that much, but it's called Render the Metaverse. So we're talking about drawing up UI and stuff for VRChat, but there is a call for content creators and artists to make inspirational artwork for VR, and they're working with Oculus and Otoy. And so what you would need to do is create some sort of 3D panoramic scene using Otoy's Octane VR or Octane Render. I'm not really familiar with that software, and I'll ask the audience here if they know anything about this in just a moment. And you can view these scenes that are rendered using more Otoy software, and you get to collaborate with a whole bunch of people in that community and get feedback and all kinds of stuff from judges there. And then there's win up to $35,000 total in monthly and grand prizes, whatever that exactly means. But winning stuff always sounds good.
Can you throw it up on the screen?
Yeah, I didn't have the link here, but I will, once I get done talking here, and I will find a link for sure. Anything else specific about that? The first entry is April 27th, so that was a couple days ago, through May 26th. So basically a month there, and then another month for their other second and third entries, which I'm not really sure what's going on with all of that. I don't know.
I think it's just the same contest, but just repeated.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Sounds like something for Tom and Kirito.
Yeah, you want to check up on what this is all about? Yeah, rendering the metaverse. This definitely sounds interesting. Let me find a good link. Does anybody know about this? Anybody guess or audience?
Yeah, the Otoy renderings, I just checked them out all night last night on the gear, and they are absolutely scrumptious. I mean, the detail, it really takes advantage of the resolution of the Gear VR in ways I haven't seen before. I mean, down to the littlest scratches, the nuts, the bolt, the lighting. It really invokes, for me anyway, it really does invoke that sense of presence. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
What's the learning curve on that?
I'm not a renderer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alex Ross?
I didn't even realize it was rendered
Alex
stuff,
Ross,
some of the stuff I saw.
Whoa.
I thought it was actual pictures, and it's actually all rendered, so I was surprised.
I'm instantly interested.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Alex Ross is a great, I mean, he's like, does DC comic renderings, like, realistic looking, and there's even been full books, novels of his work, which is, I don't know how they're basically paintings. I don't know how
Exactly.
he can do all of that, but he's one of the judges there, so that's a big deal, of course, for Carmack. So this is a big contest. Definitely need to learn more about this.
Well, when you hear Carmack say that it's some of the best stuff he's seen in VR, that means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex Ross is there, definitely.
What the Unity staff says whenever they're talking about the asset store is developers are starving for art. Literally starving, and it's just, we really need more artists working, because these digital media schools are cranking out kids. Where are they going? They're not, I know they all want to work at game companies, but they have no idea they can make thousands of dollars a month making assets. That pirate asset that Graham and Jesse just uploaded?
Not me.
Did you guys visit the pirate island? That guy makes $90,000 a month selling on the Unity asset store. $90,000 a month. So artists should be stepping up to this plate, but they don't know about it.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned about creating avatars here, doing animation work here. I mean, I think we're going to see people come in here and build assets, take stuff from Unity, build it, format it for VRChat, or this is a social place, so people that come here want some of these things for themselves, and so you can make money doing assets on Unity, but I think you could also use this small community to get yourself putting things together and trying to develop, custom stuff where your skills work. and you should do it. You should make yourself known. You should be like, yeah, I'll help out with avatars. I'll do some free ones that are just take it from the store already rigged and hand you that for free. But if it's going to be something like, hours and hours of work, charge somebody $25 or $50 for that. There are people that want to buy that, and it's not available yet. Or as well as other ways to help people get their content here. I don't know why somebody hasn't started doing that already. It's ready.
It's actually in the works. It's in the works. It's just it's just not rolled out yet.
And just for the thrill of doing it too. I mean, I've always been an artist like me. I have a twin sister. She's a really good artist, but she won't touch anything technology based. She touches paintings and things like that, sculptures. Where I was always grew up on Nintendo. And I'd like to do art, but I kind of went into the architectural design type thing, but it really didn't do it for me. I just, was not artistic enough. And, graphic design was great, and I started messing around with that, but as soon as I got my hands on virtual reality, it just exploded in my mind that you take my art and make it into, technically, reality or virtual reality.
Immersive, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people out there who, as you say, are coming out of these schools, either they don't know or, for the first time they can see that they can do that.
I mean, Turbo Squid looks like a bunch of college projects. I mean, you can see some pros that have had some really big contracts doing some really big things, but you'll see little stuff here and there, little 2 and 3 one-offs. It obviously was a college project that they're selling on Turbo Squid. Why don't they take that talent and sell it on Asset Store, make collections and libraries, because we need all that stuff. The movie industry, once the 360 cinema comes along, is going to be starving for props.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Movies in VR, not just regular looking at a screen movies, but 360 movies. I think that's going to be just as important as rendering things. Because I tried a demo. I forgot what it was called. It was like a fractal room. It was all around me, and it was indistinguishable from being. I could have sworn it was just like being in this room, but it was actually a movie. It was a video. So I definitely wouldn't underestimate the video aspect of virtual reality.
Well, script writers and editors have to learn all over again a whole new way of transitioning. So we're used to seeing cut edits and dissolve edits and all that. Those don't work in VR, and they've got to come up with new ways to make it easy on the viewer and options for the viewer to, because when you're storytelling and you're in immersion, that's a challenge.
It's a totally new platform. I mean, we're used to looking at a 2D screen for over a century now, and it's a narrative. It's a motion picture. You're staring at a picture and it's moving, so you can look at that. You get a unique perspective of that frame. But in real life, if you were to say go on a bus and there was something going on in the bus, you're sitting in a seat, you're looking around, you're getting your unique perspective. Say someone else has another seat, they're getting a unique perspective. So it's kind of a 3D, like you say, way of looking at it. So
or like a fly on the wall.
Right. So it's like, hopefully we can keep the old narrative where we're looking at a screen, but perhaps they can add both. But it's going to kind of go away, the staring at a screen narrative. It has to be more of a...
path-based. We may go down a path. We don't realize we're going down a path, but we're going down a path of the scene changes. You may not even be walking. You may just be thrown into that bus seat in a soft transition that doesn't blow your eyeballs out, because zooms and pans, they suck your eyeballs in and out, and it's uncomfortable. So I mean, they have to reinvent the script and transitioning, and I can't wait to see this all happen.
Me personally, I'd like to see the faceless lead actor, basically, where a guy or a girl is the lead actor in a movie, and he's basically wearing a 360 cam the entire time, and I am that person.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, I dreamt that. And it's like, and you just nailed it. You're the lead actor.
Right. Everyone is the lead actor. I mean, it's kind of what you do when you watch a movie. You kind of just go there. You suspend your disbelief and you say, I am that character. and there's supporting actors or actresses, and you're the character, so you're looking at them as if it's actually happening to you.
Now that's something I would bank on. We should talk. We might invest in that.
Awesome.
I could see you also changing to other people, other characters in the movie or whatever it is.
Or with your friends.
For a while, you might be a main character, but then for a little bit at another time, instead of like, it's like a way of doing cuts, like what cuts do is break things up, but this could sort of break up your experience to where you're experiencing as one person and later experiencing at another, and maybe another, maybe come back around, just, whatever makes sense. I'd imagine you'd have to do it, not so fast cuts, but these would be shifts every now and then, every scene maybe.
Definitely, and of course, in Ready Player One, they had ones where you actually have to act it out and have to speak to keep the narrative going.
Yeah, like War Game, they turned the actual performance into a game where you had to speak the exact lines and the parts from the 80s classic War Games, and yeah, I found that to be awesome. There's a bunch of us remember, have quotes from movies that we love and whatnot, and have seen certain movies a million times, and know we could get in there and quote, and I just think that'd be a really cool experience. I'm not sure how far we are from something like that.
Well, not too far. And with the 360 cameras, I mean, you have to remember, it's happening to you. So it's not like you're just watching it anymore. You're going through it. So, if you're in a car and a car gets hit by something and you jump out of the car and someone's like, yeah, what happened to you? You can say it because you were there. You weren't just watching it, I think that people will really enjoy that experience. It'll be such a personal experience. Not to mention shared experiences too. If somehow they can have multiple people with those cameras and kind of share it with each other.
So like a social, like you're in this story, you're in this VR movie, per se, where say all of us now are in that movie, so we're all in different, maybe minor characters more so around the scene, and we're all part of this, this 360 footage video, but we can all be participating, and somehow, it's a social experience amongst us somehow that are either playing a part in the movie or just, it's kind of like sitting in a theater where you're with other people, but now you're watching the movie though from within the movie.
Well, exactly. That's kind of what we're doing right now. You have people in the stands over here watching us, and say instead of us just talking, we actually had scripts, and you begin to speak, and I begin to speak, and we're acting out an actual scene. That's kind of what we're doing right now.
We have to stop meeting like this.
I definitely think theater has a place here. Like,
Definitely.
I'd love to see people performing on a stage some sort, and acting out whatever they're acting out.
And once we get the Vive, and we have the motion controls, you can easily do that, right, Cindy?
Well, my associate, Gord, who does K through 12 teaching in active worlds, they do a lot of plays, the junior high school age kids. They build the sets in a virtual world. They're not VR, but they will be eventually. But yeah, they build the sets and they make the costumes and they do the play. Usually it's historical stuff, like Shakespeare and things like that.
And then
they're
there's
really
role
into
play.
Rome. They're doing a lot of Rome right now and Caesar and stuff like that.
Definitely. And what Kirito is about to show us after this, I would definitely love to role play that. I mean that is just incredible. Speaking of video games, let's say certain scenes you saw and you became very emotional, and it was a personal experience, and you want to share that with others. It's kind of, you can role play that. You can actually make that happen. I think they do that in a Second Life, right, Cindy?
Not only that, they have relationships. So you have the whole role play thing, and then you have relationships. People that are couples that one may live in the UK, another may live in Texas. They may never have met in real life, but they've been married in Second Life for 5 or 6 years. So you
Incredible.
And they have their adventures. They go to a nightclub. They date, right? They date in Second Life. They'll sit and watch a movie together. They'll date. They'll go out dancing. You can, what do we do tonight? Oh, let's go salsa dancing, or let's go to a rock club, or let's go kayaking. you know, and there's just so much content there, and that's what we need here. We need more adventure here for more people to come and do things. Because I specialize in sims that people keep coming back to, and they bring their friends back to because they did something, but there was still more to do when they hadn't, you know, they didn't have time to do it all.
Yeah, once we get the tools to have your body or your, you know, being able to actually feel like you're here, I mean, yeah, you definitely think relationships will take off. I mean, if I have to travel 3,000 miles, and it really bugs me because I can just come in here instantaneously and see you guys, you know, or things like that. So you definitely got to figure, even people who are, you know, handicapped or, you know, whatever reason can't really seem to, you know, go in that direction can be really successful here in VR.
Well, what the biggest success we've seen is talk shows like this and forums like this and dancing and DJs. So let's move in that direction, and that will increase our population for sure.
Karaoke worked for us in the RiffMax Theater. That was 30, 40 people joining, and just throw up the YouTube karaoke video, and somebody would sing. You know, quality wasn't nothing better than this, but you could still hear good people singing and hear terrible people singing, or even some cases people coming out and performing, you know, with their instruments and no karaoke, which all of that was really interesting and a lot of fun. And
yeah, music really drives it.
What was that?
I said, or Gunter singing?
Yeah, wow. I did it. I think there's a Little Mermaid rendition that I did.
Cool.
You know,
so I witnessed that once. It was awesome.
Yeah, we had lots of fun.
That was good times.
So any of that sort of thing set up in any of these social VR applications is fantastic. More events. We need the more events we have going on here, the more that people will come out, and the more that they'll learn about other events, and then the more they'll go to those, and then they'll start thinking about bringing in, they want an avatar, or they want their own little world, or they want to see how that, you know, to do that, and that's how we're going to expand stuff.
I have performers waiting to come perform and bring their audiences with them. It's just the lack of avatars in the venue. I mean, we need a big nightclub setting, and I have other things I'm supposed to be working on. But yeah, I mean, that's all just a matter of getting the avatars. Like I said, I wanted to do the dressing room where they come in, and Ortas was saying, well, you know, once they wear the girl with the pink blouse, the next one that appears has the blue blouse, so that they're not wearing the same thing, because nobody wants to have the same avatar. And so we just, you know, have to develop it. It's great to sit there and think about it and share ideas, but getting it done is another thing.
For sure. It'd be nice if we had some kind of palette system in here where you have an avatar and you bring up a menu and change the color palette of your avatar. That'd definitely give some variety.
It'd be cool to be able to use VRMT in here.
VRMT?
Yeah, VRMT is it's made in Unity, and you can use the Razor Hydra or Leap Motion to create virtual worlds. So you can have 3D objects that you basically paint the world with, and you have one on your wrist. You have all your tools. So you just kind of bring up your wrist, and then you can bring up different tools and pick your tools on your wrist. On the other hand, you just place and paint.
That sounds like a standalone, right?
It's a standalone right now, but it'd be cool to be able to integrate with something like this, or be able to like build rooms with that for right here.
Content creation from within VR.
Exactly. That's
going
what
to be
I was trying to get at.
Huge.
That's the future.
Yeah. That's way down the line. Yeah.
Well, there are some people sort of working on that, and I remember STEM, had something they wanted to release where you could create, you know, with hydras or stems or whatever, like, you know, some basic things would be really cool. Bring it in, if they could at least bring these shapes into their worlds, or I think you'd have to, create it, then export it and import it in. Right now, I don't, you know, something like integrating like that into like a VRChat, and that definitely sounds a bit further down the line for sure.
Yeah, because you need asset servers and inventory systems and save states. So say like I rearranged the furniture in the room, when I come back, it's got to be in the same spot, whereas, rooms all reset when we leave them.
So and there's networking as well. And how do you get everyone to see the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if everybody sees the door swing, now we're slowing down the whole system. So we pick who sees the door swing, or who sees who getting in a car and driving off.
Creating
so the racetrack is all. Go ahead.
No, yeah, the race car thing is already challenging to get things synchronized there. I think it's a trick to be worked out.
Yeah, it's networked so that we all see somebody driving a car. Otherwise, they would be driving the car, but we would still see the car sitting there.
Yeah.
Definitely need some new tech in the networking area.
It's a matter of cost. So the more you network, the more you're going to lag your room, your scene. So we have to be selective of what we network. Like fireworks, we don't need to network that. It doesn't matter where it explodes at what time. It's exploding for everybody, but not in the same place, same time. Same with that boat going back and forth across the harbor. Everybody sees it, but they don't see it in the same position. But when you network it, they will. But now you've got a rendering cost.
Yeah.
But it's a fun challenge.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a lot more challenging, but it's so exciting, yeah.
We love it.
All right, so I think that's basically it. Does anybody have any questions for the guest here, or just want to talk about Unity and VRChat before we close things up?
Is Kirito still awake?
Scripto is also
awake. Yes.
He's over there in Germany.
Just tapped out. Oh shit, I have to get out soon.
Yeah. So we're pretty much done. How about, does anybody have anything to plug? We'll go over to Tom first.
Check out my Twitter at Tom23VR. I post all my things on there. I'll be having a website soon. And connecting to... That's right, Gunter will be helping with that. That's pretty much it for now. I definitely want to put some of my stuff on the Oculus Share, or some sort of asset store, something like that. I think we all eventually should do things like that to spread the word of VR.
And to have projects under your belt and things that are part of your portfolio. I think all of us should be working towards that sort of thing.
Definitely, I think
it's an opportunity right now to build yourself up in this space.
It's a good way to archive what you've done and to show others that VR is not dead.
No, it's not going to die. We can tell that already now, so that's good. What about you, Scripto? Can we send people anywhere, or?
No, I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And Cindy?
Oh, nothing new under the sun, just the same old stuff, just always working on things.
Yeah. And Kirito? They can find you here. How can they find you anywhere else?
On new rooms. Yeah, always working on new rooms. Nothing much really.
You're on Twitter now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
I have been. At Kirito?
I think it's StarKid actually.
So at StarKid, did you say?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I'm not quite sure at the moment.
Fine. Yeah.
I'm actually going up to Oregon for a couple of weeks to sit in my webmaster's office in the woods and work on some websites, because I really think, because currently we don't have an account system, so we don't really have a way to contact each other except through Twitters and things like that. So I'd like to have a website that launches the rooms and things like that to reach out.
It'd be really nice to have a way to connect.
Yeah, it's coming. I thought the forum would do that, but the profiles don't seem to allow us to contact each other. Maybe we should ask them if that could happen.
Trying to think, maybe in the VRChat subreddit could be a place to certainly have community posting there, and then on Reddit, of course, we can PM each other or talk via the comments. It's just something coming to mind. If we want to do something now, or just options. And of course we have our Skype groups, but those are, you gotta invite people in, and you can't just create yourself into Skype groups that we have kind of kicking around
Well,
for the folks that we've connected with here.
Yeah, because when we meet people in here, it's like it's always a lost connection.
Yeah.
You don't have a way to instantly transfer information unless you get them to write it down. But once we can paste a website and then they can copy and paste it into a browser, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Even simple emails work. If there's a way we could just pass around emails to everyone, like a group email, something like that.
Yeah, I could just say, hi, I'm Cindy in the forums, and then in the forums they could look me up, and if there was a way to do that, we all have a profile there if you've ever used it.
I guess it'd be nice to have like, you know, a tag, like our name tag, but have something else for, you know, promoting something or writing some sort of sub-message, and we could, you know, change that out easily.
Oh, what is the method you change your name with? It's / what?
SN for set name. So you don't have to do it from the main menu. You can do it
Is there a /
terminal. If you hit escape and go to that little, you know, chat box, type /SN space your name.
So if you wanted to quickly give somebody your email address, you could do it that way.
You could totally do it that way, yep.
Hmm.
Or you can say, you know, you could add AFK. So you could do it on the fly, just like you can switch your avatar on the fly from that terminal as well.
But you have to have your avatar URL in your clipboard, right?
Yeah, you'll need that sort of thing.
See, we should have a room that has these little tidbits, the help room.
Yeah, Kirito's working on sample rooms and sort of helping highlight features in VR and chat, so we definitely need, and I think somebody else was thinking a tutorial room, but yeah, we still have to build out.
Yeah, like a welcome room
sort of.
for new users.
A welcome room, yeah, I was considering that, to do that along with my sample room.
Yeah,
We should where they could get new avatars too, where they can walk up to an avatar and hit E and get that avatar.
It used to be that sort of room that we would all dump into in VRChat back in the day. I think it was a little confusing to have to walk around, get an avatar, have to walk over here into a box that was for a room, and then it would be glitchy. So I think having, you know, a regular interface makes sense to click in menus to get things you want, but also have that like, so new user, are you a new user? Do you need to go through the tutorial, or do you want to get things set up? You know, a button for that brings you into a room that walks you through all that.
Well, if my sample room was that good, what I was going to do was suggest to Graham that maybe that can be put at the top of the menu for VRChat Welcome or something like that. My son's a VRChat, and that could be like the first room they see on the main menu. But of course, the sample room would have to be brilliant for something like that for all newcomers, like to have a selection of avatars, a little bit of a tutorial, and all the links, and maybe when we get control over YouTube videos, a little few tutorials and stuff like that.
Sounds good. So basically, we've summed things up that there's a lot of work still to do here, but to join up, let's build this together and to highlight the forums and to highlight coming here to the meetups and that sort of thing.
More events and stuff.
More events, quite sure. All right, cool. Thank you to my guests and to my audience. It's really great you guys could show up and participate. And thank you to Fructious for my avatar, and thanks to Kenny and Ortath for recording. Thanks to the VRChat devs. Anybody else I'm forgetting?
Thanks to Gunter for hosting.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun doing this. So I'm in need of an editor. If anybody's interested in editing the weekly show, please let me know. It's a low barrier to entry. There's not much any fancy stuff that needs to happen, just basic editing. Or if you want to make it fancy, that would be cool. So, you know, if you like that stuff, great place for you to express yourself and help out. And go to guntersuniverse.com. That's where you can get links to all my stuff, from Reddit to Skype to Steam to Twitter. It's basically all that's on my site is just ways to contact me or join up with the newsletter, so you can get a weekly email about, hey, the show will be starting later today, sort of thing. And join us on Sundays. First, we usually hang out in the hitbox.tv channel for Reverend Kyle. So hitbox.tv/Reverend Kyle. And he streams for a couple hours, demos, stuff like that. And then we head over here around 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern to meet up. And we have chats, and we go look at rooms, and it's just a big community, fun night. And that's it. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night. Peace out.
Cue the music now.
Namaste.
Nope, not now. Now. Nope. Well, no outro music this time because, well, it's not working.
Fix it in post.
Yes. Editor, fix it in post. Oh, wait, we don't have one of those. Oh, I think it's because I came back in the room and I think I didn't toggle that. So, yay! Thanks everybody for hanging out, and feel free to say anything now.
Let's all
Yay!
We'll jump on the table and pretend that music is playing.
Yeah.
Gotta do the cooking by the book.
Oh yeah, I can
Hey,
totally.
Kirito, I got Unity 5 downloaded.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
So,
Whoa.
I might need some help. Like,
There is that VRChat forums. So yeah, if all of you actually, if you could go to VRChat forums and sign up there and say hello, you don't have to post that you need help right now, but that would help things grow. And so yeah, post in there, be like, hey, I've been trying to get help, and that's one way. And then of course the Sunday meetups, participating in that weekly is really going to tap you into things going on here, and you'll be able to grab people when they're when they're on here. Not everybody's on VRChat all the time, of course. Or you can, you have that notifier installed in the system tray that lets you know when people are joining certain rooms in VRChat. Names around here now like Tom and Kirito and Cindy and other folks. So if you see their name pop up that they've started a room or something, just join up and be like, hey, how's it going? See what they're doing, and then you can ask some questions then.
yeah, I've been trying to explore around in VRChat to see what the different rooms look like.
Yep.
Deep Rifter took me on a tour of a few of them.
Awesome. Deep Rifter's a great VRChat social VR tour guide.
Yes, he is. Deep
Virtual
Rifter
tours.
is the semantic verse of VRChat.
Thank you. That means a lot. Oh, really cool news, just so everyone's aware. We're having the social VR panel at Digital LA in Los Angeles on Thursday. All the social VR platforms will be represented. Jesse's going to be there. Allspace, Converge, Janice, Ted, the futurist from Fox. All of us are going to be there and going to be chatting about these spaces. I think that's really symbolic of where we're at in this space right now, that we're able to do that as a panel out there. Very cool.
Nice.
Brad, I hope
Sweet.
I'd love to be there.
yeah, I guess follow this stuff on Twitter, and I'm sure Road to VR will be covering this sort of thing. Is that kind of the best ways to see and hear what's up?
If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at @deep_rifter. I'll certainly be posting my experiences out there in Los Angeles this week.
Awesome. What else is going on, people? See some new faces or names. Fox, how are you?
Fox has been hanging out in this space for sure. In
I
fact,
haven't seen Fox.
he was around the other day. It was great.
Yeah, I just started hanging around this week.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So
you've
I would
enjoying it.
love to see some of these rooms. I'd love to see. Scripto is your Unity. Can we go into your Unity 5 room? Is that possible? And of course, I want to see what Kirito's got up his sleeves as well before I crash for the night.
Sadly, it's not possible because the DLL files, this containing my scripts, on the server. So actually, it's only possible if Graham or Jesse were to upload those maps and the DLL files on their own server. Otherwise, we can't access those scripts.
I gotcha. I can't wait to see it though. That's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Kirito, what do you think? Should we head off to some of your new stuff?
Yeah, sure. Gunther, can I do portals in here yet, or is it still locked?
Give it a try. It's probably still locked, but I can't. Every time I try to unlock it, it doesn't seem to work.